Hello and welcome to this week's series of Realism tips. I apologize as the original audio was lost, so you're just going to have to deal with my voiceover and the music. I do apologize for that inconvenience, but this week we are going to be covering inherits and how you can use talent points and inherits to help build a story for your dinosaur directly. So this week we are going to be looking at movement in specific, just because that has a bit more of a clear indication about the effects that can have than survival or combat can outright. We're going to start by looking at the actual trees themselves. That way we can just gain a familiarity with the trees. Now the trees themselves are going to differ from dinosaur to dinosaur. They all have different talent points and inherits that they even have access to. So first and foremost, gaining a familiarity with those different inherits and what they do is going to be your best bet. If you look at the top right hand corner, it will show you the name of the inherit, how many points you have invested, as well as what that inherit does and how it gets stronger at each level with every point that you invest. The amount of inherits that you have available is available in the top left corner by comparison. There are different trees that do different things in general. The bottom left is always going to be your power or combat. The bottom right is your survival, which increases your health or general survivability against like weather and other factors. And then the top part of the tree is always going to be speed, which is going to be things to help increase your movement. There are, of course, those combining inherits, and those will generally fall more towards the tree that they are closest to, but there is some overlap, and you can connect to different trees through those talent points. You can have up to 3 points invested into each category, but you have to go in the order of the tree from the center point. So you can't invest multiple points directly into a specific inherit. You have to build up to it in some way from the center. So there are going to be some inherits that you'll pretty much always have to get, but at a base these are usually pretty good. So while you will always have to follow the tree, you can invest up to 3 points. The points will always have to go more into the bottom first before you're able to invest more into it later, so you can't build 1, 1, and then 3. You have to go 3, 3, 3 if you want 3 in a specific category. You can also inherit some of these talents innately. A spawn animal will always have between, I believe it's 7 and 11 positive inherits, but depending on what you get as an egg and genetics or what your parents invest in, you can get either positive traits, which will be based entirely on your parents' investment if you take a player's egg, or if they didn't have particular nesting investments, or if they didn't invest into a certain trait, or if you have bad genetics or bad luck, or if the egg was damaged at any point during its creation or gestation or its incubation, then you have a pretty higher chance of inheriting negative qualities, which can innately reduce your ability to perform certain tasks. Those tasks can be very greatly reduced at a -2, or only mildly reduced at a -1, and they can be kind of counterbalanced by investing talent points into those categories again. But your dinosaur would never be as strong as another dinosaur that didn't innately have those negative qualities in the first place. Pteranodon is well known for being an egg snatcher. Parents cannot damage their own eggs beyond what occurs naturally through stress and taking damage while the mother is holding on to those eggs. But obviously if an egg takes enough damage, once it's out, it will just crack. You will know when an egg is taking damage even when it's inside of the mother still, because it will be accompanied by some very loud egg crunching noises. BoB is very good at their crunching noises. But anyway, back to the tree. So the tree will have a dinosaur deity that appears in the background whenever you are more invested into a specific tree. If you invest a certain number into multiple categories and it comes out to be even, it will remain that neutral state. That neutral state will show up as a white scent when you sniff another dinosaur. I was flying solo, so I couldn't really showcase that. And the dinosaur scent itself will show up as these giant plumes of scent that will be marked underneath as whatever the dinosaur species is. Some of those dinosaurs will have very large scents, and some of them will have smaller ones, but that is just something that you can keep an eye out on. So now that we have a basic understanding about talent points and inherits, I'm going to be showcasing how powerful talent points are by investing into the speed tree. So I currently have 0 in strong wings, which is something that allows the Terra to ascend more quickly. So this is what the base is without any inherits and without any investment. So it's a pretty noticeable amount, like you're going at a decent clip. It's nothing special and it's nothing very poor either. Now if we reset and we go back to about where we were before and we invest even a couple of points into that, so I'm just going to go back up the tree there and get up to 2 points in. BoB was being very laggy this day. I'm going to now climb up, and the difference there is pretty noticeable. I'm ascending much faster than I was before and more efficiently, so I could go even higher if I wanted to more quickly, and that is without even full investment. So if we go towards full investment, you can see that I ascend even quicker. Now inherits will absolutely benefit this, but it's not necessarily needed to make a viable fast flying dinosaur either. Now, where inherits and talents can come together to make a story is that you can try and base your dinosaur's strengths and weaknesses or even background off of inherits. So the blue is what it looks like when you get a -2 in an inherit, whereas all of the purple or pink ones are going to be positive factors. So naturally, my dinosaur, if it had a -2 in strong wings, would not be as rapid at flying upwards, even at base, and it would be even worse than some of its counterparts. You can see here just how slowly I'm ascending, and you can try and come up with a background for why that may be directly. Maybe your dinosaur had a hurt wing as a chick, maybe there's a hole in its wing even, so it can't climb as rapidly. Maybe there is some other factor going on, like an inability to properly read the wind or something because it was never taught. So you can try and use your dinosaur's negative values to maximize your roleplay, and your dinosaur can just generally flourish in a better setting if you bear that stuff in mind. So again, you can invest talents to counteract the inherits. Maybe the negative quality was something that was unlearned over time, or maybe it's something that they had to overcome in some way. And otherwise, you could also just say that maybe that thing is just a permanent disability. So maybe my Pteranodon has a bum wing and it will always have a bum wing, and that's just something that's either going to have to live or die with. So that's just a few different ways that you could use the inherits and then the talents that you therefore invest in them directly to come up with the story for yourself. I do hope that this guide was helpful. I know it's kind of a quick and dirty guide about what inherits and talents are and how you can use them with your dinosaur's ability to better affect your roleplay, but I really do think that this is an important thing to bear in mind. I will, of course, sometimes always go for the same builds for certain dinosaurs because that's just something that I enjoy playing, but the inherits and what my dinosaur is naturally better or worse at can add different elements to their story, and I think that can help elevate yours as well. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in Discord. If you want to submit your own tip to be seen in a video here, feel free to do so in the pins of the Realism Tips channels that will be getting reviewed regularly, but otherwise I will sometimes put together quick little guides like this as well. So I do hope you all enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye!